The elevator doors slammed shut behind yet another nanny, her voice echoing down the marble hallway of the penthouse. "I'm done. Those kids are monsters," she cried, coat half-buttoned and face flushed with frustration. Inside, 5-year-old twins Lily and Leo peeked from behind a velvet armchair, their identical grins smeared with chocolate and triumph. Their father, Ethan Hart, stood frozen in the center of the chaos, toy cars scattered across the floor, a juice stain crawling down the designer wallpaper, and his children, once again, victorious in their rebellion. He pinched the bridge of his nose. This was the 12th nanny in 7 months. Since their mother died, nothing had been the same. The twins acted out in every way imaginable, biting, hiding, breaking, screaming. Ethan had tried everything: therapy, private tutors, endless interviews with elite child care specialists. Nothing worked. He had built an empire in the tech world, spoken on global stages, but couldn't hold his own with 2 5-year-olds. He slumped onto the sleek leather sofa and dialed the agency again. "Send someone," he muttered. "Anyone. I don't care about credentials. Just, someone who'll stay." His voice cracked with something he refused to name: grief, maybe. Or guilt. In the distance, Lily let out a shriek of laughter as Leo dumped flour into the aquarium. Ethan stared blankly at the ceiling. There was no handbook for this. No app to fix it. He didn't need perfection. He needed a miracle. Or maybe just someone who could see past the mess. The next morning, the doorbell rang with none of the usual fanfare. No polished nanny in heels, no clipboard or resume. Just a woman in a simple cardigan, soft eyes, and calloused hands. Grace Williams stood there with a calm smile and a tote bag slung over her shoulder. "They said you needed help," she said, stepping inside before Ethan could offer more than a nod. Grace wasn't what Ethan expected. She wasn't from the agency's elite roster, just a substitute maid, filling in because no one else would come. He opened his mouth to explain the chaos she was walking into, but before he could, a plastic dinosaur came flying past her head. Leo appeared, arms crossed, daring her to run. Grace didn't flinch. She bent down, picked up the toy, and handed it back. "You have good aim," she said. "But next time, try aiming at something that deserves it." Leo blinked. No one had ever answered like that. At breakfast, Lily overturned her cereal bowl just to see what Grace would do. Without a word, Grace grabbed a cloth and began wiping the milk off the floor. Then she looked at the little girl and said gently, "You miss your mama, don't you?" Silence fell. Lily froze, her lip trembling. Ethan looked up, startled. No one had dared mention their mother in months. But Grace had. She didn't recoil from the pain, she walked straight into it. And in that moment, something fragile and important cracked open. Rain tapped softly against the glass as gray clouds hung low over Manhattan. Inside the penthouse, the usual noise had quieted. Grace moved through the apartment with quiet purpose, folding laundry, humming an old hymn under her breath. The twins had been unusually subdued all day, their energy drained by something even they couldn't name. By late afternoon, Grace noticed Lily was missing. After a quick search, she found her curled up in a linen closet, clutching a worn stuffed rabbit. Her small body was rigid, her eyes wide with the kind of fear no child should carry. Grace didn't ask questions. She simply knelt down, slowly, and slid into the dark space beside her. "You scared of storms?" Grace asked gently. Lily didn't speak, but her grip on the rabbit tightened. "My grandma used to say thunder is just God moving his furniture," Grace said with a soft chuckle. Then she began humming again, a lullaby passed down through generations, sweet and low, wrapping the silence in comfort. Lily's shoulders softened. Her head tilted onto Grace's arm. That night, Grace didn't read from any book. She told stories from memory, of growing up in Georgia, of warm biscuits and fireflies, of her mother's garden and Sunday choirs. The twins listened, their eyes wide, their bodies still. They ate her cooking without complaint, even asked for seconds. From the hallway, Ethan watched in silence. She wasn't just taming them. She was reaching them, in ways love had forgotten how to. The night of the tech gala, the penthouse shimmered in silence. Ethan adjusted his tie in the mirror, nerves tightening his chest, not about the speech, but about leaving the twins. He hesitated at the door, glancing back at Grace. "You sure you'll be okay?" Grace gave him a reassuring nod. "Go. We'll be just fine." But 2 hours later, the calm unraveled. Leo erupted, first with a scream, then by throwing a toy truck at the wall, sobbing uncontrollably. Lily, frightened, backed into a corner. Grace found Leo curled on the floor, fists clenched, breath ragged. Without scolding or panic, she sat beside him, her voice low and steady. "It's not just about the truck, is it?" she whispered. He shook his head violently. "She left," he cried. "She's not coming back." Tears streamed down his face as he gasped for air. "And now Daddy's gone too." Grace pulled him into her arms. He resisted at first, then collapsed against her, trembling. "It's okay to be mad," she said, rocking him gently. "It's okay to miss her. I miss people too." Lily crept in quietly, curling into Grace's other side. All three sat in silence, grief breathing between them, real and raw, but held. When Ethan returned, he found them there, Leo asleep in Grace's lap, Lily clutching her hand. He didn't say a word. He just stood at the doorway, undone. Grace hadn't calmed a tantrum. She had opened a door to healing, something he hadn't known how to do. 1 year later, Central Park buzzed with life, children laughing, kites fluttering, the scent of hot dogs in the air. On a grassy hill, a checkered blanket lay spread beneath a tall oak tree. Lily and Leo darted between the trees, giggling, faces bright and open. They looked like different children, lighter, freer. Grace sat on the blanket, slicing apples, her laugh warm and easy. Ethan lowered himself beside her, setting down sandwiches he picked up from their favorite deli. He glanced at the twins, then at Grace. "I still don't know how you did it," he said softly. She smiled, not looking up. "I didn't fix them," she replied. "I just didn't leave." Ethan swallowed the lump in his throat. For all his wealth, all his efforts, it had been her quiet presence, her unwavering patience, her refusal to give up, that had made the difference. Grace had come into their lives as a stranger with a mop and a warm voice. She had become their anchor. A woman passing by paused, watching the twins race across the grass. "Beautiful kids," she said kindly. "You must be their grandmother." Grace laughed, eyes shining with tears. "Something like that." As the sun dipped low and the day softened into evening, the four of them huddled together on the blanket, messy, mismatched, whole. Not a perfect family, but a real one. And in that imperfect, beautiful circle, love had made a home where loss once lived.